Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Saturday Crafternoons. I'm your host, Samir.
And I am your co-host, Leah.
Today, we have a special guest expert with us joining us. Her name is Jessica Brown. Hello, Jessica.
Yay!
Hooray! Welcome, Jessica. How are you?
I'm good. How are you guys doing?
Good.
Good. Yeah, it's a nice day today.
Rain or shine. Always pretty good.
It is Pittsburgh.
So rain.
Yes. Or clouds and sun. Well, it's so good to see you, Jessica. We're really excited to have you for Saturday Crafternoons, and we have a couple questions for you. A couple silly questions I feel like I should add. So, Samir, if you want to ask your question first, and then I can follow up with mine.
Okay, sure. Yeah, so, Jessica, what's your superpower?
I would say my superpower has got to be my sense of humor because, as a kid and even still today, I have a lot of anxiety. And so growing up, being able to make jokes always feel like I had armor, like I was invincible because it was a lot less serious. And it just made me feel like I was sort of in control a little bit. So that's always been the thing that got me through. So
Hmm.
I like that superpower. I feel like I haven't heard that one before, but it also reminds me of a lot of the superhero movies are kind of becoming a little bit more like comical, and I value that a lot. I think that brings more character.
yeah, there's a good chance that nobody else thinks I'm funny, but I think I'm hilarious. So that's real good.
Yeah,
Well, I'm always laughing, so.
mhm. And humor's like one of the most powerful tools to like put out into the world. I feel like make everyone smile. And I know that while working with you, you've been making us smile a lot. So I think your humor's been working.
That is true. All right. Well, I have a question for you. Um, if you had to think back in either elementary school, high school, college, what kind of work do you remember doing as a kid that like just really inspired you as an artist today?
One of the first projects that I ever did that I remember clearly was in like elementary school. My art class went down to the local supermarket and they let us paint the big glass, like big plate glass windows at the front of the building. And so they let us paint all these different kinds of scenes. It wasn't anything crazy. It was like Santa Claus and stuff like that, and Frosty the Snowman. And I think I added a menorah because my dad's Jewish. But uh, it was all of us working together to create something. This felt really fulfilling. It was definitely something that I still remember out of all the projects I've ever done.
I really like that sense of community. I think that adds a lot to the project itself. I remember doing, actually, it was a superhero project. I think it was at Pittsburgh Center for the Arts, but we ended up making a mural. So, same kind of thing. I feel like whenever you're in that environment, you definitely remember different aspects of it. And I'm glad you added the menorah because I feel like yeah, Frosty needed that. I feel like everybody kind of needs some different kind of holiday decor.
Yeah. And that's one of the nice things about projects where everybody gets to contribute is they get to put a little piece of themselves in there and what's unique to them. So that's like, I don't know, just good stuff.
Absolutely. Awesome. Well, Samir, do you have one last question?
Yeah, just one more. Um, if you could be a vending machine, what would you vend?
So I think I would be the vending machine of requirement, like in Harry Potter. Like whatever you need in that exact moment is what's in the vending machine. Because like every time I'm out in public, I find myself without the thing I need the most. So it's like if you need floss, floss. You forgot your mask, here's a mask. You need anything you want, just immediately appears for you, including things that you didn't know that you forgot. And then you'll look in the vending machine and be like, oh, thanks. This is very useful.
Yeah, that's like the vending machine of my dreams. I feel like that's
Right?
the vending machine of everyone's dreams.
I
Yeah,
know. Now
everything
science fiction, we can make it portable.
That would be incredible, because I was going to say it reminds me of a Mary Poppins bag. So if you could stick that vending machine inside of a bag, you would never forget anything. My thing is I forget my bag sometimes, so that's really awesome. Well, thank you so much for answering our silly interview questions. And we're going to be seeing you Saturday, October 10th, correct?
Yes.
Awesome.
So I can't wait. Thank you so much for inviting me. I love Assemble and I love working with you guys. So
Thanks so much, Jessica. We appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you. Let's go to the workshop.
Yeah.
bye.
Hello. Today we're going to be working on protest signs. So protest signs are an influential way to let people know what your vision is for the future of the world. Now more than ever, it's important to have your voice heard and counted. So on today's Crafternoon, we're going to be using paper cutting techniques to create posters that do just that. They're going to project your hopes out into the public eye. Welcome to my studio. Today we're going to be doing 2 projects. So let's go over the materials we'll need for each. The first one we're going to do is going to be a sandwiched collage. So I'll explain what that is in just a second. But we'll need to start 2 pieces of paper. I've got poster board, but you can use cardboard or really anything that you have handy. We will also need some colored scrap paper. There should be some in your kit. Tape or a glue stick of some sort, and scissors to cut everything out. I also use a craft knife, which to a lot of people is just an X-Acto knife. I like it because it's super precise, but it's really not necessary for a project like this. Oh, and something else I found really handy, a ruler if you have one around, or just like a flat line. Sometimes the edge of a notebook will work for that. And a pen or pencil. Pencils are things that you can erase, so I always recommend them because I make a lot of mistakes. Let's see. I think that's it. So let's go on to start our first project. So the first thing we're going to do is just figure out what we want to say. For this one, I had in mind the words future voter. So the base is going to be where we put all the paper. We're going to cut up all the shapes we want, we're going to layer it, we're going to glue it and tape it. And then this other piece that goes on top is going to be where the letters are. So we're going to cut out the words future voter, and then we're going to sandwich them together. So you're going to be able to see all the colors coming through the letters. We have our 2 pieces of paper. We're going to just go ahead and put the top one aside. Our bottom one is our base, and it's where we're going to put all of our paper scraps. So what you want to do is just start cutting things out. I like to cut out just random shapes and then put them on the paper and rearrange them until they feel right. After they're in the right spot, I'll glue them down. Once the base is completely finished, we're going to take our other piece, this top piece here, and we're going to write the words that we want to end up being on our final sign. I tried it without the pencil first. I just went for it, and my first attempt was not the best. It actually wasn't even my first attempt. It was like my 3rd attempt. So I finally busted out the ruler and a pencil, and I ended up with this. So this is what I'm going to be cutting out today. Let's get started. Okay, now that we've got our background ready, we're going to start cutting out our letters. And I'm going to give you a couple of tips to get you started. So, in order to get going on your letters without having to cut through the whole poster board, there's 2 methods to start. The first is to take the tip of one of your scissor blades and you put it in the corner of the letter, just like that, and you pull the paper up around it. And that'll give you a little slice in the paper that you can start cutting from. The other way is to make a little fold, just like that, and then snip at the folded paper, and that'll give you a little little starting place too. Either way is totally fine, so pick which one you like. The other thing you want to do is to save the insides of letters that have insides, like R, A, O. Hold on to those. Just put them aside and we're going to finish up with them. And there's one more thing. Sometimes when you're cutting a straight line in paper and trying not to rip it, it can feel kind of tense and like you can't make the angle. Just go to another spot and start cutting that out, because a lot of times it'll release the tension and it'll make it easier to cut. So, don't feel like you have to just keep going because that's the direction you're going. Turn around to make your life easier. So let's cut these letters out. Now that we have our two finished parts of the sign, we're going to combine them. So I've got my background here with all its colors, and I have my cutout words here, and it's going to go right on top. Now, I haven't decided exactly how it's going to look yet, so I'm going to check it out this way first, and then flip it around, see if I like it this way better. Oh, it kind of looks good either way. You know what? I'm going the other way. So instead of fully gluing it down, because I'm obviously a little indecisive about which side I like better, I'm going to use my tape. I'm going to need 2 pieces, and I'm going to create a hinge at the top. So I've got my 2 pieces together like this, and I'm going to come right over here, and about halfway up the tape, I'm going to lay it down, and then I'm going to fold it over. And I'm going to do the exact same thing a little bit further down the piece of poster board. And that's going to hold it in place just fine. If I change my mind, I can fix it. If I decide this is the way I want to go, then I can just finish taping the sides. Either way, it gives me a little flexibility. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take those little insides that I put aside, and I'm going to return them to the letters they were cut out of. So this is an R. This is also an R. Here you go, buddy. And the inside of my O. And here we have it. My finished sign. I think it looks very nice. For our second work, we're going to do a layered paper cut, which is fun because it has sort of a 3D quality. Often that's achieved by putting little structures in between the layers to separate them, but we're not going to get that complicated this time. So for the image we'll be working with, the artist Justin Teodoro has given us his permission to use his piece, We Should All Care. You may have seen it before. From that image, we are going to use the templates that sort of separated everything into little parts. So we're going to cut out each one of these sections, and then we'll be assembling them afterwards. One of the things I like to do is cut out each individual piece roughly, just, snip, snip, so that it's separated, and then go back and do the close detail. So it's easier to maneuver that way, and you don't have to worry that you're accidentally going to cut through another section. Now, for the black part here, this is the outline. So we're not just cutting out, we're also going to be removing the inside. You're going to use the skills you just learned with your letters on that one to get on the inside lines. Take your time. There's a lot of little detail here, so just go slow. And if you can't get some of it, don't worry about it. What I like to do is go back after and color in anything I might have missed, because you can never tell. So let's get cutting. Now that we have all our little pieces cut out, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our black outline and, well, I might touch it up a little bit. I'm going to take some black Sharpie and I'm probably just going to go around some of these sections and cover up a little bit of the white. You can do that. You don't have to do it first, or you can just not do it at all. It doesn't matter. The second thing I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it over so the black is facing down. We're going to see the white outline here, and then the next thing we do is add the color blocks. So this is the jacket, and I'm going to do this one first because the pants go behind it. So I'm going to lay it down so that the outline is around it and it covers most of the space that was left by the cutout. The next thing I'm going to do is add her pants. So this is that big block here. And let's see. I'm going to line it up with the shoes. There we go. Tape that one down as well. Not too tight. You know, you want there to be a little bit of air in between each one, so you don't have to like seal them tight. And then we're just going to continue with each little block. Now this little teeny tiny thing is actually the inside of her shoe. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take our piece of paper. I just have a regular 8x10 piece of paper, although I think, you know, a piece of colorful construction paper or something might be pretty cool too. And I'm going to take all my little bits, and I'm going to flip it over. Okay, so before we add the little accent colors, I think I'm actually going to taper down. Or actually, you know what, let's lay them out first, just to make sure we have everything where we want it, and then we'll tape it down. Oh, you know what? I got this backwards. This is why we check first. I think that goes there. And I'm just looking at the image here so I can have a little bit of a reference. There we go. And now I feel like I can tape it down or glue it. In this case, I think I'm going to go with tape. And there is our finished project. Now, as you can see, it still comes off the page, and that allows it to cast a shadow, which gives it a little bit of that 3D effect that we were talking about. Well, that's it for our projects for today. I hope that you learned some skills that you can add to your creative arsenal, and I hope that you explore and experiment and tell the world what it is you're fighting for. You know, there are forces in our society that want you to feel powerless, but it's only because you're so powerful. Tell us what you want the future to look like. Use your voice and maybe some paper. Bye.
Thanks so much for joining us this week for Saturday Crafternoon. We would love to see what you've created. To do so, please share by posting on our Facebook page, tagging us on Instagram at AssemblePGH, or email me at my email, leah@assemblepgh.org. And if you enjoyed this video and want to hear from us again, be sure to hit that subscribe button before you go.